And Recharge is not a stranger to you or our viewers, of course, because we were indicating that they may have actually been a saviour to actually get something rising from the ashes of this.
Indeed. So this site is in Camas, which is next to the deep water port of Blythe in the northeast of England, Northumberland, just north of Newcastle. I was up there a couple of weeks ago, as you say, Mark, when Britishvolt went into administration, because this site really is seen as a fabulous place to build the batteries, the lithium-ion batteries that will go into the electric vehicles that are becoming, you know, they're already a third of the vehicles that are sold each year at the moment. And when the new petrol and diesel car ban comes in 2030, EVs, as we call them, electric vehicles, will be seen as ubiquitous. And unless we've got a battery-making plant or another one, there's already one near the Nissan site, owned by the Chinese, also in the northeast, then we won't make the cars nearby because the batteries are very heavy. Let's just go through some of the details of this site. So the Gigafactory, it's called a Gigafactory because it can create batteries of more than a gigawatt in a year.
We're not talking about a double A, are we? It's about the size of a car floor, isn't it?
That's right. So it's going to be a £3.8 billion facility. It's just north of Newcastle, near the port of Blythe, in Camas. Under Britishvolt, the plan was to build about 300,000 lithium-ion EV battery packs per year. If you consider 600,000 to 800,000 cars are made a year in the UK at the moment. We're trying to get that back up to 1 million as it was before the pandemic. So that would be a big chunk of our EV production if all of those batteries stay here in the UK. And this Camas factory was going to create 3,000 jobs with another 5,000 jobs in the supply chain. Now, as we know, Mark, we can move the graphic on. We know that in January 2023, Britishvolt went bust. And we know now that this company, Recharge, has bought the site and the assets at Camas. This site is already hooked up to the national grid. It used to be a power plant. They have broken ground there. They've laid foundations. Some of the remedial work is done. And we know also, Mark, that Recharge have form here. They're already building a gigafactory in Geelong in Melbourne in South Australia, or in Victoria, in the southern part of Australia, to be pedantic, because, of course, Adelaide's in South Australia, and that's opening in 2024. So Recharge were one of a number of companies that bid for this site, and the receivers decided that they would be the best.
Well, they're called preferred bidder, which we assume means that with due process having gone through, they think they've got the money to actually do this. Because obviously Britishvolt had the plans, but they didn't seem to have pockets that were deep enough.
Britishvolt got the planning permission, they got the IP, as we say, the intellectual property, all the title is done on the site. A lot of work has been done. What they also have, Mark, crucially, and the government haven't confirmed this is the case, but I would be amazed if it wasn't still the case, Britishvolt had access to an agreed £100 million credit line from the government that's contingent on the owner of the site raising a certain amount of private sector investment.
It's about 150 million, I think they were talking.
And building a certain amount of the plant, and then the government money kicks in. Britishvolt couldn't sell their vision at this time. Recharge must think they can sell their vision, but still, as far as I know, it's £100 million of government finance.
And the key question for all those who literally lost their jobs because Britishvolt went into it...
About 350, we think.
Will they be able to reapply? Will they have to start from scratch? What are the processes likely to be?
I've put a few calls in, Mark. We have absolutely no idea on any of that. All we know, literally all we know, is that there is a preferred bidder. That preferred bidder is Recharge, and the company has confirmed that that is the case.
So a bit of good news. Things could be moving.
Yeah.